as he drops ordnance after ordnance on enemy ground targets. An enemy fighter coming in here, turning hard to try and catch Viski. A little bit of negative elevator, a little bit of fancy footwork into a barrel, and... Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to a match in progress. Wait, did I have join match in progress enabled? Quick, better turn that off. Now, this is Viski, currently and briefly in the very fantastic American medium tank, the M4 Sherman with the 76 millimeter long boy gun. I've seen Viski do very well in this tank before, and not bad Viski. Plenty of spawn points to spawn in his Polish P-47M. This is a special vehicle that I very, very strongly considered purchasing, but it's basically a different camouflage for the P-47M 1RE that's available for purchase from the Gaijin store, and it's one that I had already picked up. It is an excellent aircraft at both ground strike and fighter activities when played properly. As demonstrated, ripping up his first target with those 850 cals, and is that a penguin on the cowling? If I had only known you could have a pengu, I totally would have been all over that. Firing a couple volleys of rockets, dealing some splash damage, failing to get the direct hit that's needed to kill that SPAA, but again, dealing good damage with the shrapnelization. And let me tell you something about this video from Viski. You might have noticed something about these ones that Viski sends in. He's going to get a ridiculous number of kills in the P-47. I don't know how he does it. It's insane. And even though he accomplishes these feats in this Polish premium P-47, you could pull this off with most of the models of P-47, which just goes to show why this heavy single-engine fighter is such a beast and such a fantastic, versatile aircraft in the American tree. And look at the engine power of this monster, the hard-hitting effect of those 8 wing-mounted 50 cals. It looks like he has his gun convergence set to around 400 or 600 meters. Hard for me to tell, but I'd say closer to 400. It looks like what I use. I've been using 400 meters convergence a lot for my wing-mounted guns, and it seems to work pretty well for me because it's a close enough range that when you're performing top-down ground attacks against open-topped and lightly armored vehicles, 400 meters is a pretty good engagement range before you need to pull away and pull out of your dive. For propeller aircraft, it's far too late to pull out of a dive for a lot of the jets, but I digress. And it's also useful for air-to-air. Looking again at the convergence, it might be set to 600. Anyway, you could ask Viski. I'm also a huge fan of that Star of David he's got going on the wing there. Well, it's nice to see. Anyway, he is just racking up the kills here, and I should be more excited, but let me just make this window a bit bigger in my editor. Oh yeah, there we go. Nashorn messed him up. Hull break, wiping out the vehicle. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I'd like to see more spalling, more fragments sent by HVAR rockets, and high explosive in general, I think, just doesn't get as much fragmentation for anything smaller than 150 millimeters than it should. But maybe that's just me. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's absolutely fine as Viski takes down the 4.3 tank destroyer, the Jagdpanzer 38T, my boy the Hetzer, from fire through the very thin roof armor. A battle rating lower than Viski's own plane, but no problem whatsoever. Enemy aircraft as Viski, low on energy here at only around 170 miles per hour, going into a climb, hoping to get the hits that he needs and not getting them against this Focke-Wulf. Now, a Focke-Wulf is an airplane, a fighter, that's supposed to excel at low speed maneuvers. At the same time, a Ta-152 not a Ta-152, I'm an idiot, it's HE-219. That's right. The old ground strike king, still a very powerful aircraft at 4.3, and with laser beams of cannon-fueled death. Looks like Viski's rocking the AP rounds, by the way, if you were wondering what he used to shred what appears to be a BF-109. I thought that was a Focke-Wulf, but when it's falling to pieces, it looks more like a 109. Going into the vertical against the Heinkel 219. Heinkel? Hershey's? Anyway, Pangu versus heavy 2-engine German fighter. One chance to get the guns on target, and the HE-219 just doesn't have the nose lift to take down the P-47. A good spray causes what looks like a fuel leak and probably damage to an engine, hits on the tail, hit on the wing, shreds it to pieces, and Viski has claimed his third air kill at 7 ground kills total, 3 aircraft, and continuing to target lightly armored vehicles from the sky. Praying for VFW spam, I'm sure, but a Stur Emil just as good. Or sorry, is that a Dicker Max? I think that might be a Dicker Max. Although, there's no dickering at this point. Any open-top tank destroyer is going to get real bad shredded by those guns as Viski opens up with 8 50 cals firing armor-piercing ammunition, coming around for a second pass. There's nothing this guy can do. He needed to rely on his allies to keep the skies clear in their own whirly birds, and they just couldn't do it. Viski having removed the sound of every enemy propeller from the sky, and now on his way back to base as we speed up the replay, and we have a moment to catch our breath. 8 ground kills, a few of those admittedly in the Sherman, a very good medium tank. 3 air kills, and let's see how an ace lands his P-47. Look at that beautiful plane. Big, thick, sturdy wings, nice, widely spaced landing gear, makes it easier to land safely on the runway. So I'm seeing, from the fact that Viski still had his flaps deployed in the landing orientation, it's a lot harder to slow down when your flaps are deployed. So as soon as your wheels touch the runway, even just before my wheels touch the runway, I'll drop my flaps back to the retracted position, and that really helps you to slow down. And in a heavy aircraft like the P-47 MRE, you really need to be able to brake as quickly as possible. Just look at the beauty of this aircraft. I really missed out by not picking up this Polish P-47 when I could. The story of its pilot is interesting also. He was one of those guys who was skilled enough at what he does and in a small enough pool of manpower that he was able to get away with some things that you probably wouldn't be able to get away with if you were in someone else's army. But Poland, a little bit different than other countries in World War II. The Penguin, man, I really regret not picking up that vehicle. But Viski still continuing on, striking the ground as you do, with a fresh complement of secondary weapons to start making passes on enemy vehicles. His next advance, taking down a Tiger. Big kaboomski is how you would say that in Polish, I believe. Anyway, look at this gorgeous aircraft. I'm falling in love, guys. I really am. Am I going to have to start flying my P-47s again? You know what? I've been on this extended honeymoon with the P-51, and I've enjoyed its smooth flying, but there's just something to be said for this American brute, the Juggernaut, the little brown jug, as he drops ordnance after ordnance on enemy ground targets. An enemy fighter coming in here, turning hard to try and catch Viski. A little bit of negative elevator, a little bit of fancy footwork into a barrel, and the Focke-Wulf 190 is stalling. They're going into a stall fight. Viski on the bottom. The Focke-Wulf with just a bit less ability to pull. He's getting his nose down. He can't pull it up in time. Stall fighting a Focke-Wulf 190 with heavy damage to his airframe. Viski now into a rolling scissors, a textbook maneuver, and he's got the Focke-Wulf in front of him. He's on the tail of the Focke, and there's nothing he can do to get him off other than to try and use his snappy roll rate. But the Focke-Wulf trying to turn with the P-47 now, low to the deck, going for whatever speed he can collect. Viski just clearing the cliffs, getting his guns on target, and it's over. There's nothing this Teutonic pilot can do to get Viski off his tail, and he shreds the wing for his 4th air kill. 15 kills in this match, many of them in the air, in the P-47, going back to base, taking down every single enemy that faces their guns toward him. Viski has become an ultimate juggernaut of the skies, wiping out the majority of the enemy team single-handedly from the air in an aircraft that gets maligned, in an aircraft that gets called the easy way out for American players, and Viski here making it sing against this skilled and yet outclassed German team, playing very aggressively as we commonly see him do, a head-on with a whirlwind, and the P-47 comes out on top in the first pass, taking down the gunner. Now he needs to act very fast to be able to finish this loop and take down the rest of the crew on this whirlwind. Can he do it from the top down? He shreds the crew in a quick burst, less than half a second of machine gun fire, and the Jug just absolutely body slams anything that you face the nose of this airplane toward. Viski here making the guns sing like a crescendo of Mama Browning's finest freedom dispensers. Ladies and gentlemen, we're up to a total of 16 kills, most of them in the Jug, all of them by pure American dominance of the skies. One last kill as Viski crashes down to the ground for his 17th kill. GG. He's going to respawn in this one, but not a lot's going to happen after that. By the time he shows up to the battle, it's over. Victory for Team Viski. Catch you guys in the next replay. Bye-bye.